The big dance, first four in action tonight, right? All because of that, the NBA slate offers a shorter rotation because you're here for NBA, not for the first four big dance, at least not yet. New Orleans Pelicans versus the Brooklyn Nets in our feature game for this broadcast. Now, I have some information on this game that I think will entice you or at least persuade you to stick around. It's just a non-conference event, right? A nothing-burger game. It was seemingly, on the surface, you don't hear much about either one of these teams, especially should be hearing more about the Pelicans, probably. But tip-off 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:40 Pacific Time, real-time Vegas time. And this will play out inside of Barclays Center in the pizza capital of the good old USA, Brooklyn, New York. Now, the one certainty this Tuesday night, as I've mentioned, is the college action, the introduction of the 2024 National Basketball NCAA Basketball National Championship. It's that time of year again. It's Mad March. It's here. The Wager Talk team and myself will break down this NBA game that I have some interest in, strong interest in, with one hesitation, and I'll mention that and some information that kind of makes me want to stand up and run to the counter. But before we get to that, we're going to ask you to please do us a favor here at the Wager Talk Media Center, and do yourself a favor, actually, by hitting the subscribe button. It takes 1 minute to subscribe, and when you do so, you receive right at your doorstep, your laptop, your desktop, your smartphone doorstep, updated schedules, schedule changes, breaking news, whether it be in a sport, international, globally, or maybe breaking news of a Wager Talk special or an event, upcoming event. If you're a first-time visitor, you may not know these things. And I wanted to make sure you knew that. And if this is your part of your daily routine and you haven't done it yet, take a minute. I tell you, you won't be sorry. We won't be sorry you did. We'll get you the information, the gaming information, the intel, everything you need to be successful in the sports wagering arena. That said, New Orleans, healthy, hitting their stride. You don't hear much about this team. I'm going to get to that a little bit later here, but the Pelicans 41-26, fifth in the West, and they're in the Apple again for a date with Brooklyn. The Pels coming off a home win, an impressive home win over the Blazers, 106-107 or 126-107, covering as 12.5-point favorites, home favorites, obviously. The Nets fell to San Antonio, going down 122-115 as just 2-point underdogs. Now, I say just 2-point underdogs with some hesitation, too. I mean, the fact that you're an underdog to the Spurs, it's not like you're a huge underdog. But let's just get this. That's a statement. It's a statement when the Nets are underdog to the Spurs this year. The Nets team is capable. They're capable, don't get me wrong. Inconsistent, lots of new things, lots of new pieces around them that make them difficult to trust, though. The last matchup between these two teams, the Pelicans won by 27 back in January when the Nets weren't as ruffled as they are right now. I mentioned the Pelicans squad is finally whole, healthy, if you will, but I'm still a little bit, it's difficult for me to trust this New Orleans troop. Even when the numbers, even when the metrics scream, go, go, Gadget, go, I have that little, in the back of my mind. I don't trust Zion Williams as far as I can throw him. And if you've been in the same room with Williamson, and if you nod your head, then you know what I mean by how far you can't throw him. It's a big guy. However, the elephant in this room is what you don't hear. What you don't hear. Do you hear anything about the coaching staff or the New Orleans Pelicans being postseason dangerous? No. You hear nothing as far as being a title contender, yet here we are. They're sitting in fifth place right behind the Clippers on the Clippers' heels. A Clippers team that's been lethargic at best, right? Herbert Jones, he's a key piece. Really, he is. He didn't play the last game. He was a little bit injured, and he was out. Make no mistake about it. This New Orleans team is defense heavy, and that's part of where Herbert Jones comes into play. Herbert Jones, Larry Nance Jr., they're the injury questions tonight. Dyson Daniels is out for New Orleans. The Brooklyn Nets, they've played themselves out of playoff contention. Really, they have. They're not there yet. They're not out of it, but they're in 11th, and they are going backwards beyond measure. And they're not trying to go forward. They moved Dennis Schrader into the starting rotation. He's been with the team 15 games. Cameron Johnson, bench Cam Thomas, has become the team's leading scorer, and he's inconsistent to a large degree on whether he shot 5 for 25 or 8 for 16 from the floor. Nick Claxton for the Nets, a double-double machine. but this team's not defending like they can defend. Mikal Bridges is their second leading scorer at 20.6, and he's a top-tier, elite defensive wing. Dorian Finney-Smith, ankle injury, questionable. I don't think he'll play. Ben Simmons is out. Whitehead's out. And their Nets are not a team that can be trusted. They've lost the last 3 games they played. Who they lose to? San Antonio, Charlotte, and Detroit. Now these are losses, straight up losses. New Orleans covered 6 or 7, but they're being overvalued. They finally kind of hit their market peak, and while they're not being talked about, the books know who they are. And laying this kind of number in Brooklyn is the equivalent of what they laid at home, the 12.5 to Portland, and the Nets are a better team than Portland. So, that said, I'm in this room tonight. I'm in this room for several reasons. I'm on a prop, but tonight's game finds New Orleans issuing points on the road, as I've mentioned, that you can be compared to what they were issuing Portland at home against a Nets team that hasn't done much lately, but they're capable. If I'm in this room, I'm going to lean as Pelicans to cover. -6.5, 7, 8. I think it goes even higher. I'm Tony Finn. Thanks so much for dropping by. We'll see you again tomorrow.